slowly started moving back down.
Is that this one?
Yeah, so that area. So.
Yeah, so we came up, we were ranging, and then we've come for this area of liquidity above the range.
Yeah.
So yeah, now we're just waiting to see what we get.
Yeah, we broke through the previous area of liquidity with momentum, but after the pull, but after the change in trend, just carried on.
Yeah, exactly. Let me just sync my video with the screen recording.
Camera.
Yeah. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Sweet, that should be synced. So yeah, I'd agree with that. That we had this range. Let's zoom out a touch. We had this range in price action here, coming from after an impulse. So we had an impulse to the upside. But if we zoom out a bit more, we can see that we are in a quite a massive overall range. If we zoom out even more, we can see that we had this very large range here, and then we've come for the area of liquidity below this range, and then we've come and took that, tapped that area, and then rejected the upside, raised around, come for that area again, rejected, broke the low, took the liquidity below the range, and then we reversed to the upside, and then we came, took the liquidity below this range, like so. Took this area of liquidity here, moved to the upside, and then we broke the high retrace, broke the high retrace, broke the low retrace, broke the low retrace, broke the high retrace, broke the low retrace, broke the low retrace, broke the high retrace, showing us warning signs that we're just going to continue to move sideways and range.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, Hatton, we then impulsed up, broke the high, and then pulled back down quite aggressively, and now we're just expecting and seeing more of a range bound price action. Happy with that?
Yeah, man.
Happy.
So what would we need to see in order to either take a long position or a short position from this price action at current?
Need to see it break out.
Right, my apologies, just fixing the audio ratio. Right, so now what, sorry, I know I already asked you this, but what would we need to see now in order to take a long or short position?
Go on, Jack.
What's that? Sorry.
What would we need to see in order to go long or short?
So you need to see a leg of momentum out of the range that we're in now.
Yeah, so you'd want to see a leg of momentum to the upside or downside.
Yeah.
That's sufficient enough to tell you that there is a imbalance, and that either the bulls or the bears are in control of the market, in which case we'll ride the path of least resistance and we'll be looking for the short setup. Only once we see selling pressure will we start looking for sells. We don't buy and sell within ranges, but we buy and sell in the path of least resistance so we can ride the wave of the trend, and then when it does want to trend to the upside or downside, we'll just look to take advantage of that trend for as long as it wants to trend in either direction. So let's see what we can get. Boom. So then we break our most recent low. Is this a break of interest? Is this anything that we're looking for anything here?
No.
Nope.
Nah.
Nope. And
We've
then we get this.
rejected, if anything.
Yeah, so we break the low, we reject with a wick and a shift of momentum to the upside. So now which direction would we expect price to go in next?
Following it up.
I'd expect to the upside.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And then we continue to the upside and just expect it to continue to the upside now. We get a pullback. I think it's just barely broken the high with one tick. So it's still moving to the upside. Then we can see we get this candle, which I can only assume is a news candle based on the size of those wicks on both sides of the price section. You can also see at the bottom of the price section that we've got a news tag telling us that there's PPI and Fed Chair Powell speech. So Jerome Powell speaks and the market reacts. But yeah, I'd still say that well, it's closed solid green and it has a large favourable wick to the upside, so I'd say looks a wee bit more bullish than bearish. But yeah, still an indecisive candle. Before looking for a buy or sell, I'd need to see confirmation to the upside to go long. I just need to see it confirm that upwards momentum before I'm looking for a long position. Would you boys agree with that?
100%.
So that's
Yeah.
a nice rejection wick to the downside.
Yeah, definitely. So we know with news candles like this, it could spark off a nice trend, or it could reject and reverse. So we're just staying patient here because we know we could reject, reverse, maybe start off a range, or move down. So this is where we wait for facts and we wait for price action, which is obviously the candles itself, price action, to tell us which direction it wants to move in, up or down. And if it wants to move to the upside, then we'll take advantage of that with a entry setup. Happy with that?
Happy.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. And then we push to the upside and we show that we're continuing with that upwards momentum. So what are we thinking about this?
Look for pullback on a shift momentum. I'm liking it's a nice solid close above that high, last high as well.
Yeah,
Filled
I'd
the
agree
wick.
with that. So if we were looking for it to say clear liquidity above the range, would we say that we
Definitely has
have
done that.
sufficiently cleared this area? We can see that this wick in
Yeah.
fact tapped that area and then we've continued through it, so it's like we've took that liquidity and then just continued up.
Yeah.
So we're happy that we're now seeing clear momentum to the upside. We just want to see now if we can confirm with no shift in momentum to the downside, and yeah, let's see if we can just keep the upwards momentum going, and if we get see if we see any significant warning signs that tell us we want to stay out, or if we don't, then we'll get involved. And then we get this candle. So what are you thinking now?
Still interested. It's filled
Still
that wick and
interested?
then
Yeah, filled the wick. I definitely
Go
agree
the
with
wick completely.
that.
yeah, got a favourable wick to the upside as well.
Yeah, definitely got a favourable wick to the upside. Nice favourable wick there, and we've closed solid above the high. So yeah, for me, this pair in the live market would be getting a green light, and I'd be looking for a buy position, because like I said, we trade in the path of least resistance, where we're looking for the buyers to take over, for there to be a clear imbalance where the buyers are winning, pull back where the buyers are still winning, clear confirmation that the buyers are still winning, in which case we'd then get involved to continue to the upside once price action can confirm to us that there is clear strength in one direction. And when we've got that clear strength in one direction, that's when we, like I say, we look to get involved in that path of least resistance. We don't look to, like try and guess the top or the bottom and move, because that's when you'll become liquidity and get liquidated. But when we wait for those clear signs of a trend, and then we see no substantial warning signs telling us not to get involved, and we get that clean flag set up or the continuation set up, then no reason why not to go long. So let's see what happens. And then we get
Agreed.
this pullback candle. This is the first pullback now. So this is now the whole size of the leg of momentum to the upside. What are we thinking? To the leg of momentum to the upside versus the pullback. Have we seen a shift in momentum to the downside, maybe?
No.
No.
I wouldn't say so.
No. Are we? What do we think of the wick printed on
If
the
it
red
if it
candle?
was solid,
Yeah.
yeah, if
Be
it
more
didn't have that wick, if
if it
that
did-
was solid instead of a wick, I would be worried. But
Yeah, I'd be with Jack on that one.
Yeah.
I'm happy with it
Got
being a
no
wick to the downside.
favourable width
Yeah.
with it.
So it's got a little favourable wick
Yeah.
on there, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's got a little favourable wick. So in that regard, like you say, if it closed solid, then it would show us a shift. Be more concerned that it showed us selling pressure to the downside. Because of the little favourable wick, we're still got this pair green lit, still looking to go long. Happy with that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
And then the next pullback candle has that confirm the shift in momentum to the downside, or confirm that we've still got the bulls outweighing the bears.
I'd
So,
still say there's buying pressure there.
Yeah, so
yeah.
if I just draw it on, like so with the Pathfinder, who's in control in this price action here? The left leg or the
Buyers.
right leg?
Buyers.
Yeah. The buyers are
Buyers.
definitely in control in this leg of momentum. And in terms of these pullbacks, we've seen double favourable wicks, which is favourable to the upside. In which case now, if I see a nice, strong, solid break of the high, what would we be doing?
I'd be looking for a pullback and go.
Yeah, I'll be looking for a pullback and go as
I know.
well. But what else could we do?
Yeah.
If we saw a pullback of the pullback?
It could be
Set
setting
up
up for a
set
flag.
up a flag.
Yeah, so if we don't break the low of this candle now, and we get a pullback of the pullback, that would confirm this area for a flag line. And then if we get a pullback, and then we tap this area, reject with a wick, print a green candle, what would that mean? It would mean we'd have the flag set up that we forecast, in which case if we get that set up, more than happy to get involved with a long
Market
position.
execution.
Yeah, on a market execution. Sweet. Bix, so let's see what happens next. And then yeah, we get the pullback of the pullback, confirming that flag line is now valid. So it hasn't broken the high, so like I say, it is a valid flag line. So now, depending on how we break this flag line, like I say, we didn't break the high, we didn't set up the continuation, but we have validated the flag line. So if we say pierce this flag line with a wick and set up a green candle, happy to take market execution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet. Let's see what happens. Okay, so have we seen a shift in momentum to the downside in this price
No.
action, this pullback?
No.
Nothing of concern.
Nothing.
Okie doke. And then this candle, let me just double check the low.
Just
So we
broke
can
it.
see up here, we can see up here where it says L. We can double check the low of the candle. So let's double check the low. The low is 1.08135, and then the flag low is 1.08138. So 135 is 2 ticks lower than 3 ticks lower than 138. So that has just broke the flag line with 2 ticks. So if we now, has this break of the flag line shown us a shift in momentum to the downside?
No.
I wouldn't say so.
No. So now if we printed that green candle and it wasn't, if it doesn't close too close to the high we'd be happy to get involved, right?
Yeah.
Or what would we do if we saw it continue down and it closed down here?
Then invalidate it.
Yeah, I'll invalidate it, absolutely. It shows shifting momentum to the downside and no longer be happy and willing to get involved. Because that would not be
Start
our
looking
high
for a short
probability.
then maybe.
Yeah, if we break the low.
If it continues down, yeah.
Yeah, if we break the low and continue down, yeah, definitely. Start looking for a short because, like I say, we take the path of least resistance. If we see that there's more bulls in the market than bears, or more bears in the market than bulls, then we'll get involved in a short. Or if there's more bulls than bears, we'll get involved in a long. So let's see if we can get that entry candle without a shift in momentum. Boom. And we close green. We haven't closed too close to the high. If we put our order on, we'll be able to minimize our risk on the break of the high, because we now break the high after this setting our market order execution, we can immediately reduce risk to half of our original risk, 0.5% of our 1% risk. So now, based off of this setup, you're both happy to get involved in this?
Yeah, I'm happy with that. That's a beautiful flag.
That is a beautiful flag. I'll just
Gonna-
double check the time. There's a 2 a.m. on a Wednesday. Does that put either of you off at all?
Nope.
No.
So we're happy to put this on, and then let's see what the market wants to offer us. We know that we could either, from here, break the high and allow us to reduce risk, or we could take us out for a full 1%. And like we say, if it doesn't want to move down and set up a downtrend, we'll just get involved in a short. Or if we want to continue to the upside, get involved in a scaling.
Oh.
So yeah, we'll see what happens. And then the next candle closes solid green to the upside. And then the next candle breaks the high, which now allows us to reduce our risk. Not into profit just yet, but we get to reduce our risk to half of our original risk. I believe that's just slightly less than half. 1 tick less. So now we're running at plus 1.42%, but we're not looking to take profit here yet. Of course, we're waiting for to lock in profit. So right now we've got no profit locked in, so I'm just going to get that off. We're sitting at 0.5% risk from a full 1%. We've reduced that to half, so let's see if we can continue to the upside now. We've got our first pullback candle here, so we broke the high and we have retraced, which isn't the most convincing in the world. So hopefully we can now come up, break the high, lock in a bit of profit. We've got our first pullback candle, and then we do that, we break the high, allow us to lock in a wee bit of profit. Happy with that?
Yeah.
Sound. So I'll just put that now to like so. So we've got 0.14% locked in now. So now we've got no risk, no drawdown. We've got worst case scenario, we get taken out for plus 0.14%. So now if we saw a scaling opportunity, I'd be happy to get involved.
Yep.
100%. So let's see what happens. Well, we can see right now, so we've just broken close solid above the high. Does that mean we're looking to take a scaling from here because it's risk free?
No.
No, definitely not. Because just because it's a risk free scaling doesn't mean that I'm going to take trades that don't fit my plan. And this is not a long that fits my plan. The flag obviously is, but not this as a continuation here. That's just diabolical. That is awful. No Lego momentum, no strength. So let's see if we can continue to the upside, and then pull back, break the high, and lock in profit as we go. Lock in prof. Follow the trend, as you know we like to do. Follow the trend for as long as it likes to trend, and get out as soon as it doesn't want to. So let's see what happens. And then break the high, but it does print red. Then we come up, break the high with a wick. So it's starting to show lack of confidence in the movement to the upside. That doesn't mean that I'm going to close the trade and go against my management rules. I'm going to continue to manage my trade as normal. And we can see if I did close it because we broke with a wick, I would be regretting that now. So I'm very grateful that I'm following my management rules, because then we break the high with a massive candle to the upside. It looks news orientated, I'll be honest, and we can see at the bottom that it is. So yeah, it's news, inflation, doesn't matter, it's happened to work out in our favour. We don't watch the news, we trade price action. Sometimes it works for us, sometimes it works against us. In this regard, we can see momentum was overall to the upside, no shift in momentum was overall to the upside, no shift in momentum to the downside, and then continuing to the upside. Now we can see that we've got profit running at plus 3.77%, but does running profit matter?
Nope.
No, it
Nah,
only
not
matters.
until we can lock in it.
Exactly, it only matters when we've locked it in. So right now we can lock in we can lock in 0.25%. We know we're running at plus 3.77%. Does that mean that we're going to close the trade because we're running at a bit of profit, or we're going to continue to follow our management rule as we have it in our trade plan?
Management rule.
Yeah, follow our management rule precisely. So let's see now if we can get that pullback, break the high, and then we can lock in profit below the low. And then we get this candle. So does this now mean that we're going to abandon our management rule and get out the trade, or we're just going to continue to manage as per our trade?
Nah, we're chilling.
We're chilling.
Well, we ain't chilling,
Continue to
but
follow.
We're
yeah.
chilling. It's come
Yeah.
back up. We're back in the game.
Yeah, we're chilling.
We're chilling. Nearly
we're
filled that
chilling.
red wick entirely. Now it's looking bullish again, but it is a bit indecisive and volatile with the size of these candles. But hope we've got the first pullback now, so hopefully we break the high and we can lock in some prof. And then we break the high with a wick. Not the most convincing break of the high, but it means that we can reduce our risk into profit. It was in profit, but now we can get some more prof. 1.7, knock off 2. So now we're sitting at locked in plus 1.26%. We're happy with that, boys?
Yeah.
Yeah, so now we're just waiting for that first pullback and the break of the high. Are we looking for a scale in from this break of the high?
No.
No. Not a convincing break,
No.
is it?
No.
Not looking bullish.
Mm.
So we can see we've got
Wiki
that shift in
action, that is.
momentum to the downside, which means sellers have obviously stepped in order for this candle to print the way that it has. Which means if there's sellers, there's stop losses above this wick, above this shift in momentum, and then this wick has come and then obviously took out the stop losses above that. Hopefully we can fill that wick and continue to the upside. Let's see what happens. And we do come up and fill that wick and we break the high, fortunately, allowing us to lock in some even more profit, which is some good news. So now we
Nice.
have plus 3.07% locked in, 369 ticks, equaling plus 3.07% profit. So now, are we looking to go long based off of this break of the high? Or are we more cautious in this area?
Probably just need some more confirmation, because did have a bit of a indecisive movement there, but it was some nice closes there. It's got two nice closes. If we filled that large wick,
Yeah.
it tapped high, so you see that large we did fill it and then break the high again. But
Yeah.
maybe one more.
Yeah,
Just
what
sort of
I'm cautious
clear
of
break of the
is
high.
the break of the high, shift of momentum to the downside, break of the high with a wick, pull back. So now if we broke and pull back now, what would that tell us? If we pull back
Ascending
now.
channel.
Yeah,
Slowing down
ascending.
momentum.
exactly. So for that reason, I would not be looking to go long based off of that, even if it is a risk-free scaling. That just doesn't fit my plan, and I can't justify that trade. So we'll see if we can get a pullback, break of the high, or if it wants to take us out, whatever it wants to do. We'll see what happens. And then we get this pullback. What do we think of this pullback? Favourable to the upside or downside?
To the upside.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It's favourable to the upside. Based off of that, I'm expecting the high to break next. More likely than the low. But it could still break the low. Doesn't mean that it has to. So let's see what happens. And then, yeah, it does break the high. Doesn't look like that was a pullback candle. So we can't lock in any more prof based off of that. And then we continue to break the high. What are we seeing with these breaks of the high?
Momentum here.
Are we seeing momentum?
Yeah, slow down in momentum in the breaks
Yeah,
of the highs.
definitely slowing down in momentum. I'd agree with that. And then that is a pullback candle. Now, so how was this pullback? Oh, sorry, I was going to say.
Favourable pullback.
Yeah, so is that favourable to the upside or downside?
It's definitely favourable to the upside.
Yeah. So based off of that, are we expecting the high or the low to break next?
That the high.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But it has
Yeah, I'm expecting the high to break.
But it doesn't have to, but it did, which means we can lock in profit now. So now we can lock in more profit to below 2 pips below the most recent low, like so. So what are we thinking now of this trade? We're happy with this so far?
Yeah, man.
Are we looking to scale in from the break of this high? Think if we got a 1
Nah,
pulled back now?
not scaling in there.
Nah, no
Nothing
way.
going on there.
Nah,
No way,
nothing I'm
Jose.
liking there.
No. Yeah, so now if we pulled back, like I say, just be confirming that ascending nature. Unfortunately, we've slowed down a wee bit there. It's a bit of a warning sign, so this isn't looking too favourable, but we'll continue to manage our trade as normal. So yeah, see what happens. We come up and we break the high. I think it's worth mentioning, we'll just take it back to this candle here. Oh no, so I thought that was spread hours, so it wasn't spread hours. Nothing for us to worry about, but if our take profit was here and it was 9 and 10, then yeah, we would have just left an extra little gap for spread hours. Just would have left a little 30 pip gap, but we haven't got to worry about spread hours because our take profit level was down here when it was spread hours, so we ain't got to worry about that because it was already over 30 pips away. Right, so we're just now waiting for another pullback and a break of the high to either continue to lock in more profit or we break the low and take us out for plus 4.92%, which definitely would be no issue with that, would there be, boys?
No, that'd be nice.
That would be nice, so let's see what happens. But if we also want to make us more profit, we won't complain with that either.
We'd love that a little bit more.
Yeah, I would love that even more. So now we're pulling back. Yeah, so we are seeing an exhaustion in momentum to the upside. We can see weakness to the upside, and then we are coming now where we're starting to see it pull back. It's getting close to the low. See what happens. We're ranging now between the high and the low. And we're starting to see a bit more selling pressure in these two candles. And then it comes down, breaks the low and takes us out for plus 4.92% profit. So are we happy with that trade?
Happy with that.
Yeah.
I'm definitely happy with that trade. That is a 10 out of 10 setup. I'd take that again and again and again. And that has banked us a nice 4.92% profit in the market. We can see that we come out of this range bound price action. We took liquidity below the range with this massive wick, and then we reversed to the upside, cleared this area above the range here, and then continued. Pullback showed us no shift in momentum, and as we were forecasting from the range, if we saw that pullback with no shift, pullback, break, and then setting up that flag, we were more than happy to get involved in that. That's exactly what I did. So we were more than happy to put on a market execution for a long position with 12 pip stop loss, and then follow the trend, trail the trend with our stop loss to lock in profit as we go. And then we can see we at the top of the move we started to slow down, saw weakness, locked in profit below the low, and then we came down, broke our low here, and took us out for 4.92% profit, which we've got absolutely no problem with, because now if we're breaking the low, what are we expecting now that we've broken the low?
Continue down.
Yeah, well, we're definitely not expecting
So,
momentum to the upside, because, you know, now we've come down, broke the low, we're expecting either a change in trend,
Yeah.
range or reversal, that sort of thing. So we can see now that we got taken out right before the reversal, range and reversal. So as we know, we like to get taken out at the top and the bottoms of the moves, maximize how much profit we extract from the market with our strategy. So yeah, thank you boys for attending today's call. Thank you YouTube fam for tuning in and watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a
thanks
like
for
and
putting it on.
You're very welcome. And if you like this video, make sure you like, subscribe, drop a comment, drop this emoji if you made it this far in. And yeah, peace.